Good evening. My name is Caitlin Green, and this is my vlog over the lecture we had yesterday on October 12th, 2021. Excuse me if I look a little bit rough. I just did 2 hours of cardio, so I am coming in here sweaty and tired, but excited for statistics. So, in yesterday's lecture, we started talking about Chapter 7, which seemed to have pretty much, I don't want to say the same idea as Chapter 6, but we still are focusing on relationships between X and Y. We're just focusing on regression, which you said would be prediction line. But we went over, or I guess we reviewed over the strengths of graphs as well as different things to look for, like the direction, strength, any weirdness, stuff like that. And the regression line made pretty good sense, although it does look a little bit complicated. But at the end of the day, it kind of just looks like y equals mx plus b, where mx is the slope and b is the y-intercept. Of course, it can't just be that easy, so, we have to make it a little bit more confusing, but I don't think it should be too hard to grasp once I really sit down and practice it. I would say the thing that probably confused me a little bit was just that practice problem that we started going into. The first bit really wasn't too bad. I followed all the different subjects, ages, the day since the panic attack, all the different values that we had and how we put them into an equation. You reminded us that we had to look for the degrees of freedom, the number of tails, as well as alpha whenever we go to look at, I can't remember if it's table B. I think it's table B. But we'll look at table B, and once we found that value, I thought that table B was much easier to use than table D. Not because the information was easier, but I guess table B was just a bit more straightforward, and table D did have a lot of itty-bitty numbers to look at, so overall I didn't find that was too hard. The thing that really confused me, though, was when we started going over the question about, what will be the predicted number of days for a person that's 26 years old since they've had a panic attack. And I think the reason why finding that regression line just confused me so much was just because all the jumbledness and, missing steps. But, obviously that happens. But, yeah, it'll definitely be something that I'll be sitting and looking over the videos whenever I start working on the textbook problems, as well as just looking at some of the other C-Tri-Fly videos, just to make sure that I completely get it. Because I remember in high school, whenever I was taking statistics, that I remember doing scatter plots and realizing that -1 was a strong, 1 was a strong, but 0 was no correlation. And I remember making regression lines to find the best fitting line. Although, I don't know, I felt like it was easier than, maybe just because it was a simpler statistics class, that it wasn't as in-depth. But I don't know, I remember doing a lot of it on the calculator, and so seeing the equation and having to break down all the values just confused me a little bit. But hopefully I will be able to get that all figured out before we have the quiz next week. But overall, those were my thoughts and concerns. I'm really glad that the test finally came out, just because that was something that was really, I wouldn't say worrying me, but it definitely had me on the edge of my seat for a bit. So, but other than that, those were my thoughts and concerns from this week's lecture. Hopefully I will have, I'll have to have everything done by next lecture, but hopefully I understand and have everything done before next week's quiz. And yeah, thank you for watching, and I hope you have a good night. Thanks.